Genesis chapters 13 and 14. Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev desert. He took his wife and everything he had. Lot went with him. Abram had become very rich. He had a lot of livestock and silver and gold. From the Negev desert, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel. He came to a place between Bethel and Ai. That's where his tent had been earlier. He had also built an altar there. He worshipped the Lord there. Lot was moving around with Abram. Lot also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land didn't have enough food for both of them. They had large herds and many servants, so they weren't able to stay together. The people who took care of Abram's herds and those who took care of Lot's herds began to argue. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. So Abram said to Lot, "Let's not argue with each other. The people who take care of your herds and those who take care of mine shouldn't argue with one another. After all, we're part of the same family. Isn't the whole land in front of you? Let's separate. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left." Lot looked up. He saw that the whole Jordan River Valley had plenty of water. It was like the garden of the Lord. It was like the land of Egypt near Zoar. That was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose the whole Jordan River Valley for himself. Then he started out toward the east. The two men separated. Abram lived in the land of Canaan. Lot lived among the cities of the Jordan River Valley. He set up his tents near Sodom. The men of Sodom were evil. They were sinning greatly against the Lord. The Lord spoke to Abram after Lot had left him. He said, "Look up from where you are. Look north and south. Look east and west. I will give you all of the land that you see. I will give it to you and your children after you forever. I will make your children like the dust of the earth. Can dust be counted? If it can, then your children can be counted. Go, walk through the land. See how long and wide it is. I'm giving it to you." So Abram moved his tents. He went to live near the large trees of Mamre at Hebron. There he built an altar to honor the Lord. Chapter 14. At that time, Amraphel was the king of Babylonia. Arioch was the king of Elasar. Kedorlaomer was the king of Elam, and Tidal was the king of Goim. They went to war against 5 kings. The kings were Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela. Bela was also called Zoar. Those 5 kings all gathered their armies together in the valley of Siddim. It was the valley of the Dead Sea. For 12 years they had been under the rule of Kedorlaomer. But in the 13th year they opposed him. In the 14th year, Kedorlaomer and the kings who helped him went to war. They won the battle against the Rephaites in Ashtaroth Karnaim. They also won the battle against the Zuzites in Ham and the Emites in Shaveh Kiriathaim. They did the same thing to the Horites in the hill country of Seir. They marched all the way to El Paran near the desert. Then they turned back. They went to En-Mishpat. En-Mishpat was also called Kadesh. They took over the whole territory of the Amalekites. They also won the battle against the Amorites who were living in Hazazon Tamar. Then the king of Sodom and the king of Gomorrah marched out. The kings of Admah, Zeboim, and Bela went with them. Bela was also called Zoar. They lined up with their armies for battle in the valley of Siddim. They got ready to fight against Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, Tidal, king of Goim, Amraphel, king of Babylonia, and Arioch, king of Elasar. There were 4 kings against 5. The valley of Siddim was full of tar pits. The kings of Sodom and Gomorrah ran away from the battle. Some of their men fell into the pits. The rest escaped to the hills. The 4 kings took all of the things that belonged to Sodom and Gomorrah. They also took all of their food. Then they went away. They carried away Lot, Abram's nephew, and the things he owned. Lot was living in Sodom at that time. One man escaped. He came and reported everything to Abram. Abram was a Hebrew. He was living near the large trees of Mamre the Amorite. Mamre was a brother of Eshcol and Aner. All of them helped Abram. Abram heard that Lot had been captured, so he called out his 318 trained men. All of them were sons of his servants. They chased the enemy as far as Dan. During the night, Abram separated his men into groups. They attacked the enemy and drove them away. They chased them north of Damascus as far as Hobah. Abram took back all of the things the kings had taken. He brought back his nephew Lot and the things Lot owned. He also brought back the women and the other people. After Abram won the battle of Chedorlaomer and the kings who helped him, he returned. The king of Sodom came out to meet him in the valley of Shaveh. The valley of Shaveh was also called the King's Valley. Melchizedek was the king of Jerusalem. He brought out bread and wine. He was the priest of God Most High. He gave a blessing to Abram. He said, "May God Most High bless Abram. May the Creator of heaven and earth bless him. Give praise to God Most High. He gave your enemies into your hand." Then Abram gave Melchizedek 1/10 of everything. The king of Sodom said to Abram, "Give me the people. Keep everything else for yourself." But Abram said to the king of Sodom, "I have raised my hand to the Lord. He is God Most High. He is the Creator of heaven and earth. I have taken an oath. I have said that I won't accept anything that belongs to you. I won't take even a thread or a strap of a sandal. You will never be able to say, 'I made Abram rich.' I'll accept only what my men have eaten and what belongs to Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Those 3 men went with me. Let them have their share."